What if I told you one of the most underlooked and frankly villainized muscles in hockey strength conditioning could actually be the key to a better shot, more puck battles, and injury prevention? Well, that muscle is the bicep. The biceps are typically dismissed as more vanity training muscles, especially in hockey training culture, because we think of having big muscular biceps as something that isn't functional at all. However, the biceps are definitely a lot more than aesthetics. Now, not saying you have to have massive biceps. There's a reason I'm wearing a sweater today and not a shirt, but the biceps are an integral part of our strength conditioning programs. So today we're going to break down why biceps matter, some of the science behind their functions, some best practices when it comes to training them, and how to optimize your training when it comes to in the gym and translating it on the ice. My name is Dr. Jamie Phillips. I'm a former professional hockey player, physical therapist, and hockey rehab expert. I own Ghost Rehab and Performance, a hockey training facility in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The biceps brachii is a two-headed muscle that crosses both the elbow and the shoulder joint. It has three main movements. The first is elbow flexion. The second is supination, so turning our palm up. And the third is the biceps acts as a minor shoulder flexor, so bringing our arm up in front of us. Beneath the biceps is the brachialis, which is a strong elbow flexor and provides a lot of strong pulling power. And then we have the brachioradialis, and we think about its action in the most simple terms, provides a lot of grip strength as well as forearm and grip endurance. Together, these muscles help produce or absorb force, specifically when it comes to things primarily below the shoulder, as the biceps brachii is a minor shoulder flexor. But when we think about the upper body demands in hockey, the biceps are doing a lot more than we think. So why do hockey players need strong biceps? Well, hockey players need strong everything. When it comes to the biceps specifically, let's break it down into four main components. The first is shot mechanics and power. A powerful wrist shot or snapshot doesn't come from just the core and shoulders. The biceps assist in explosive supination, elbow flexion, and eccentric, so lengthening of the muscle when shooting a puck. Research shows that forearm and elbow flexor strength is linked to increased stick velocity and shot speed when it comes to shooting a puck. Number two, puck battles and stick strengths. Whether you're tying up an opponent's stick in front of the net or battling for a puck in the corner, strength matters. And the ability to stabilize your elbow against resistance is critical. Preventing an opposing player from straightening out your arms where you are not in a strong position and taking the puck off you is going to result in poor turnovers, as well as total grip strength from the brachialis and brachioradialis muscles will help with that endurance and grip strength in front of the net or in the corners so that you maintain possession of the puck. Bicep tendon injuries tend to be more common in overhead athletes like volleyball players, swimmers, and baseball players. But hockey players also risk injury through repetitive strain from shooting, slashes, and body contact. By strengthening the biceps and surrounding muscles, you help to improve resilience and decrease the likelihood of an overuse injury. And finally, number four, balance with the back and the triceps. A strong back without strong biceps is kind of like building a house without any foundation. Just as the triceps help balance the chest during a bench press, the biceps help balance the back during rowing and pulling movements. This balance and lack of imbalance helps promote overall health and prevents injury. So how do you train the biceps? Well, like I said before, the biceps aren't just for vanity. Nobody has ever accidentally gotten too jacked just from training certain muscles. But if you are super worried, then train them in a more performance or functional based approach. You can do this by performing compound based exercises first. Things like pull-ups, chin-ups, heavy rows, both target the back and bicep, and you can choose which one you want to isolate based on your positioning. The next is direct isolation. So hopefully we've all done some sort of bicep curl. You can isolate either specific muscle or muscles depending on your grip. The supinated grip, so palms down, primarily targets the biceps brachii, both the long and the short head. A neutral grip, so palms facing each other, primarily targets the brachialis, and a pronated grip, palm down, so something like a reverse curl, primarily targets the brachioradialis. Along with the different grips, you can also angle the exercise specifically. So things like a preacher curl where your arm is being supported, others where you have curls with your arm either out in the air, so you're using a little bit more stability, and then you can play around with the grip depending on what your focus is. No matter what you do, I would always focus on going through a full range of motion, as the more strength you have through a full range, the less likely you are to get injured. When we look at athletes throughout history, a lot of those athletes that have the biggest arms come from not just bodybuilders, but more strength athletes. Athletes who use a variety of different grips in pulling exercises, combine heavy compound work like bench press, deadlifts, different pulls and rows, and progressively build volume over time. So you can play around with whether you are trying to add a little bit more size, a little bit more strength, or a little bit more speed, but typically I like to add all of those three in equal doses. Start with a lot more volume, and then as the volume goes down, so the amount of reps you do starts to go down, the amount of weight, so the intensity starts to go up. Don't overthink bicep training. It doesn't need to be its own specific day. Just make sure that you're getting in bicep work at least twice a week, typically on your upper body days. Now, the shape and size of the biceps is going to vary a little bit on genetics, but for the most part, following a progressive overload training program is going to increase the size and strength of your biceps and the speed and velocity of your shot. So the next time someone tells you that biceps are just for looks, remember, they are a hidden weapon in hockey training. They help stabilize your stick, power your shot, and prevent your upper body from getting injured. Train them smart, train them consistent, and you'll not only look strong, but you'll perform strong on the ice. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments which hockey training topics you want us to cover. Plus, whatever video YouTube is recommending right here is probably one you should go watch.